And let's start with the first scene. It's over here. I think that the section is not necessary to create the scene. We can do this using scroll wheel, using a zoom tool, and try to find the best scene. But before I do that, it's good to turn on Save Frame. So let's go to Asset Editor. Remember to have all these V-Ray icons at the top. It's very convenient. Just right click over here and check V-Ray for SketchUp, V-Ray Lights, V-Ray Objects, and V-Ray Utilities. And I go to Asset Editor over here. Okay, and this is our Asset Editor. I go to the settings. As always, we need to set up engine. In my case, it's RTX. Progressive rendering is turned on. Quality for preview renders is medium. I will turn on denoiser, V-Ray denoiser. And that's all in this section. Then I go to render output and turn on save frame. And now it will be much easier to set the scene. Also, I will change the aspect ratio because this widescreen, I think that using this ratio, we will have a lot of empty spaces on the left or on the right side. So I think it's better to change aspect ratio to 1:1 or 4:3. You can decide. Maybe I will try with 1:1 ratio. And we can start setting up the scene. Firstly, I will check field of view because when we are changing ratio, this field of view is also changed. So I go to the camera and choose field of view over here. And here in the bottom right corner, we have field of view. And for now, it's set 56 degrees. I will change it. For field of view, mostly I use between 40 to 60 degrees. I think that 56 is fine, but we can change it. For example, to 45, it's fine. Maybe 40. So something between 40 and 60 will be fine. Maybe 45. Okay, I click on zoom tool. I try to orbit and set the view. I think it looks fine. I can zoom in, zoom out, and try to find the best views. I think it's fine. Remember to turn on 2-point perspective, and I have one, I think, very helpful advice. Before you change perspective to 2-point perspective, try to set the view where these vertical lines are very close to the to 2-point perspective. Because if I change this, to this view, if I have this view, and then I change perspective to 2-point perspective, our scene looks weird. So remember to firstly go to perspective view, try to find the best scene, for example, something like this. And in this scene, my view is almost 2-point perspective. And then you can adjust it to 2-point perspective and everything works fine. So this is my advice. Not to start with something like this when there is no vertical lines, because then you can have weird scene. Yeah. Okay, I will set the view. Camera 2-point perspective. I think it's fine. Just give me a second. Yeah, it's okay. Maybe I will check field of view again. Okay, 45. It's okay. Almost done. Okay. And I save the scene. I go to the view, animation, and add scene. You can always go to the right side to scenes and click plus icon. Yeah. And we have new scene. Okay, it's time to set the lights, but before I do that, let's see that here we have windows and we need to create glass material. I will use a library from Chaos Cosmos. I click on this icon and then I go to the materials. Here I type glass, press enter, and mostly I use, just give me a second, glass window, this one, glass window neutral. I click import and I will show you all the settings in the glass material if you want to create it from scratch. I click on the glass window neutral material. I expand reflection, refraction. And as you can see, reflection color is almost maximum. Reflection glossiness is 1. Reflection IOR value is changed to 1.8. And here we have refraction color, almost maximum. And refraction glossiness is set to 1. So if you want to create it from scratch, here you have settings, but I think that it's easier to use our material library. Yeah. And so this is our first material. I will apply this material to the glass here. But before I do that, Ctrl Z to undo. I need to open the group. Double click and then I apply material to the glazing and it's fine. At the beginning, I will turn on material override option. So I need to uncheck can be overridden in the glass material. I uncheck can be overridden because in the render settings, I will turn on material override option. At the beginning, before setting up materials, I always turn on material override to set up the lighting correctly. So check this option, material override, and make sure that glass window neutral material can be overridden option is unchecked. And render, that's all. I will check everything. Okay, it's fine. We can render the scene and see the results. Okay, this is our render. It looks fine. Of course, our light isn't very good. Maybe I will change the scene a little bit. Yeah, something like this. Update. And I will create natural lights. In the lights folder, just give me a second, maps folder. Yeah, it's over here. In the lights folder, I prepared HDRI map from the website polyheaven.com. This is very nice light. And let's try with this HDRI map. Firstly, I will create dome light. I click on the dome light icon and place it anywhere in the scene. It's fine. And then I will go to the lights tab. Then click on the dome light and I will upload HDRI map. I click on the texture slot. I click on the folder icon and choose HDRI map, this one. Yeah, it looks very nice. And then let's increase intensity. I increase it to 150. It will be very intense light. Everything depends on HDRI map. Some HDRI maps need 30, intensity 30 or 50. But another HDRI maps, they need very high intensity, 100 or 150. So you need to check. which one, which intensity is the best. Okay, I will turn off sunlight. I think it's not necessary. If you want, you can use this source of light. Mostly I use only dome light for natural light. Okay, and it's very, very bright. Okay. I know why it's very bright, because probably I forgot to unhide ceiling, as you can notice. So make sure that in tags, the ceiling is unhidden. Yeah. It was too bright. That was suspicious. It should be much darker. So I turn on ceiling tag and it looks much darker. And I need to rotate this HDRI map to get better effect because it's too dark. So to do this, I will turn on interactive rendering. I click on this icon over here. Okay, it's fine. Then I go to Asset Editor. Okay. And then I click on HDRI map. Click on texture slot. And here we have texture placement. I expand this tab and rotate. Here we have rotate horizontally. We can rotate it. And let's see that our scene is much brighter. So firstly, I focus on the lighting, and I can also focus on the view outside the window. I know that -90 will be fine because I was trying it previously. So -90, yeah, something like that. It looks fine. We have nice lighting in the scene, and also view outside the window is also very nice. Okay, maybe 93. Yeah. And it looks fine, but let's see that the view outside the window is too strong for me. So to change it, I go to color manipulation over here. I expand this option, and in color offset, I change the color to dark gray color, and let's see that the view outside the window is a little bit blurry, desaturated, and it looks much better. Okay, I think that's something like this is fine. Yeah, almost white color is okay. So change color offset, change this color from black to dark gray color. Later, this view outside the window will be adjusted by changing exposure, highlight burn, contrast, filmic tone map filters. So this view outside the window will be different at the end. But for now, it looks fine. Okay, I can stop rendering process. And I create the layer exposure. I click on the layer, create layer, choose exposure, and I can increase exposure a little bit. Let's see that the view outside the window is white. So I will decrease highlight burn, and it looks much better, this view outside the window. Okay, it's fine. And we can always add filmic tone map if we want. We can do this now, or we can do this later, because with material, our scene will be different. So maybe I should do this at the end. I will adjust it. Yeah, for now it's okay, maybe it's nice. Okay, I will turn on filmic tone map. but it's not necessary. We can do this later. And now it's time to create first material. Firstly, we will focus on easy materials like walls, floors, baseboard, and later we will create something more difficult, more complex, fabric materials. And then we will work on fur in the carpet. So let's start. Let's create new generic material. It will be wool. Firstly, let's set up the color. I will choose a gray, almost white color. Something like this. Yeah, it's fine. You can choose your favorite color for the wall. It can be different visualization, so try to try different options if you want. Then reflections. Reflections are almost always the same. I set the reflection color here in the middle, always, to 130, 140, something like this. And reflection color, here I upload the map and mix this map with the color. So I click on texture slot, bitmap. I go to the maps folder, and here we have, here, wall reflection color. Okay, and this is our map. Transfer function is set to none, so our map is brighter. If I change it to sRGB, it will be darker. If I change transfer function to custom gamma curve, I can set the brightness by myself. But for reflection glossiness, mostly I set none. I think that for this map, it's not necessary to blend this map with the color because this map is not very intense, not very contrast. So I will leave it as it is. This map is fine. Okay, and let's apply this map, this material to the wall. Okay. And now I have a checker. This is a mapping of the material, but remember that we can change it in the binding tab. I change texture mode to custom or texture helper. I see that in the newest V-Ray versions, this mapping, the preview of the mapping is created automatically. So sometimes we can notice maps or checker, they are created automatically. In older V-Ray versions, we have color, so we need to change it. In binding tab, I change it to custom, and here I will upload map, wall reflection color map. So it will be much easier to check the mapping on the wall. And let's see that it's too dense, too small. So in the edit tab, I change these values to 254. And I think that the mapping looks much better. Yeah, this mapping is from reflection glossiness, and it's fine. Okay, I think that now I can turn off material override option. I go to settings and turn off material override. It's not necessary because we have created material for walls. So now we can render the scene. I click on render and let's wait a second. Okay, it's very, very bright. Okay, because still my ceiling is hidden. So I click on this eye icon to unhide this, and I need to update the scene. Right click and update. And now the ceiling is visible. Yeah, because it's too bright without the ceiling. And this is our render. It's, as we can notice, it's very bright because there are many white elements, except for wall. But we will create another materials and our visualization will be darker. Okay, so let's create material for floor. I create new material, floor. Okay, and I prepared for you maps. They are from the website polygon.com. There are many free materials and they are PBR maps. Here I have material for a map for diffuse, reflection glossiness, and normal from BAMP. Mostly we need this map. Maps for bump and reflection we can create by ourselves. On my YouTube channel there is video how to create other maps based on diffuse map, so you can watch it if you want. There is website, maybe later I will send you a link, because having only one map we can create another maps for normal, bump, reflections and displacement. Yeah, so we need diffuse map. I will upload this map diffuse. Okay, it's fine. Then I go to the reflection, and for wood I always set reflection color somewhere here in the middle. And for reflection glossiness, I will upload the map. I think that this map is too dark, so even if the transfer function is set to none, I think that it's too dark. So we can always change transfer function to custom gamma curve and change the brightness by ourselves. Just change the gamma value, for example, to 1.2, and I think that it's brighter. It will be more reflective on the visualization. Yeah, let's take a look. Yeah, it looks fine. We can notice small reflections. They are very blurry and it will look realistic. And then I can upload a map for bump. Sometimes for wood it's not necessary. For floor, I think, oh, not this one, sorry. This one. For floor with panels, I think that the bump is necessary. And that's it. I change mode to normal map and remember to decrease amount. Let's take a look. If my bump has a high value, then reflections are not very visible. If I decrease this value, we have more reflections in the material. So sometimes if you are setting up a material and you set high reflections, but your bump is set to a high value, these reflections can be invisible. So make sure that the bump value is set to 0.1, 0.2. Sometimes, in some cases, we need to set high value for bump, but in these materials, reflections are not very necessary. So you will see it later with a material in the cabinet, but we'll do this later. For wooden floor, 0.1, 0.14, it's fine. And let's take a look. Let's apply this material to the floor. Of course, it's too small. We need to change it. Okay, I changed the values. I think that now it's too big. Let's use tape measure tool and change the width. It's 32. I think that 20 will be fine. So we need to decrease these values over here. I will decrease it to 170. I know that it's good value for floor, 170. And having this value, the width of the panel is, yeah, something around 20, and it's fine. Okay. I will hide carpet to check floor material, and let's have a look. Okay, floor looks very nice, but let's see that the direction is different than in SketchUp. Let's take a look. I think that the reason is with back faces. Somewhere we have back face and our material works different. So if you have this problem, sometimes it can happen, you can always double click, select the face and apply material to this face. And let's see that the direction is right. But I would like to rotate this. So again, double click on the floor, select face only, right click and choose texture. If material is applied to the face, not to the group, to the face, then you can always right click and choose texture. If this texture position is not visible, it means that the material is not applied to the face. If you can notice texture, if you can see it, use position and then right click and choose rotate 90 and the texture will be rotated. And press enter. And now we have right direction. It looks fine. We can check again our visualization. Yeah, our interior looks very nice with this. Reflections, yeah. Here we have the reflections are more visible. Here material is darker and we have really good effect. Okay, let's move on and create two plastic materials. One material will be white, the second material will be dark. Maybe not black, but dark material. So I create some material, white plastic. Plastic material plus. Okay. And it's very simple material. So in the color, in the diffuse, I set the color. Something around 230, 235. So it's quite bright color. And in reflection, I set reflection color to maximum value and reflection glossiness to 0.6. That's all. It's very, very nice material. Sometimes if you want, you can always upload the map, but for plastic, for window frame or for baseboard, is not necessary. This material will look great. And then I duplicate this material, right click and duplicate. And I will rename it to black plastic material or dark plastic material. And I will change the color in the diffuse tab. That's all. And I have two materials. Okay, great. I will apply this black plastic material to window frame. And white plastic material, I will apply it to baseboard. That's all. So two plastic materials are created. Okay, I think that we can move on and create another material. Maybe I will create fur and carpet at the end, because with fur option, our visualization, it will take longer to create visualization. That's why I will create fur at the end, because, for example, displacement, fur, scatter, They are great tools, but to create visualizations, it will take a lot of time. So I think that it's good to create these materials at the end. So I will focus on maybe the sitting, armchair. I don't know if it's a good word, armchair, but let's say that this is armchair. And let's create material. I will rename it to fabric. Fabric material. And this material will be more complex, very interesting material. I will do this using fall off. And additionally, in the bump tab, I will upload very nice map, which you can use in your project. It looks like this. Okay. Yeah, it's really nice map. Let's take a look. It's this one. Very natural. We'll get very nice material with this map. But firstly, I will focus on the diffuse. I will upload the map. I click on the texture slot, choose bitmap, and then armchair diffuse. I open it. And I can apply this material to the model. Okay, but we need to change mapping. Firstly, I will change values and let's check if it looks fine. Maybe again, I will change the values. Yeah, now it looks fine. Maybe it's too high values. I will change it to 2240, or maybe even smaller. Yeah, now it looks fine. Okay, I will render it to show you differences between one map and fall off. So firstly, I will render this. Yeah, it looks nice because it's nice model, but that's not all. I will create fall off map. To do this, I right click on the bitmap on the texture slot, choose Rabin, and then fall off. It's almost at the bottom over here, fall off. Okay. And automatically in color A, we have map from the diffuse, and in the color B, I will copy map. So I right click, choose copy, and paste it to color B. Right click and paste as copy. Okay, but these maps are the same. Color A and color B is the same. There is no difference between them. So I will change the brightness at color B. To do this, I click on the texture slot and change transfer function. First option is to change transfer function to none, but I think that it will be too bright and it will not be natural effect. I think that the color B is too bright. So maybe I will change transfer function to custom gamma curve and increase this gamma value to 0.708. It will be brighter, but the difference between darker map and brighter map will not be, so strong. Okay. Oh, and it's a little bit darker and looks fine. I'm not sure about mapping, if it's fine. So if I am not sure about mapping, I will expand binding. I will change it to custom and upload the map from diffuse. Yeah, it looks fine. Yeah, sometimes this preview in SketchUp, which is done automatically, looks weird. So it's better to upload the map in the binding, and now we are sure that everything is fine. And let's render the scene. And we can compare the results. Okay. Almost done. Okay, I will stop render and we can compare it. Yeah, let's take a look. On the left, I think that the right side looks better because we have darker parts, brighter, and it looks more interesting. In this scene, maybe it's too bright, but this is because some elements are white. That's why we have very, very bright scene. We can always change it, just using exposure. We can decrease it and it will be fine. But remember that fall of map creates a better effect. Yeah, better effect. I use it very, very often. Fall off or mix map. Okay, but I think that the color is a little bit pink, maybe, so I will use color correction to change it. Right click on the texture slot, rub in color correction, and I will change saturation. I will decrease this value, for example, to 0.6, minus 0.6, minus 0.7, and we'll get gray color. Yeah, the color is different. So you can change it, you can desaturate this material or not, you can leave it as it is. Okay, but it's time to change bump. I will upload this map, my favorite map for fabric. It looks like this, armchair bump. Okay. Remember to decrease this bump amount to 0.1, 0.2, something like that. And let's check the render with bump. We will compare these two results. Material with bump and without bump. Okay. Yeah, I know that the quality of the render is medium, but I think that we will see the results. We'll notice the difference, yeah. This bump is visible. Maybe it's too strong. We can still decrease bump amount if we want. Okay, I will stop render and let's compare it. Yeah, the color is different, but additionally, we can notice this texture. Yeah, it looks very nice. Much more realistic. So you can decide. I think that's 13 is fine, but we can always decrease this value to 0.1, for example. Yeah, but it looks very, very interesting. And I will duplicate this material, this fabric material, right click and duplicate. And I will rename new material to curtain. I will change color a little bit, but everything will be the same. Okay, and I apply curtain material to the curtains. Okay, I can change dimensions, for example, to 50. You can try different values. Oh, 50 looks fine. Maybe it will be 70. Maybe 100. Yeah, it looks nice. And I will change color. So I click on the texture slot in the diffuse. And we can change brightness. I change lightness mode to gain gamma lift. I will decrease gain and gamma, so our material will be darker. Yeah. And let's check. render. Okay, and it looks fine. We have brighter and darker fabric material. Okay, we can move on. I will focus on the lamp and on the painting. Maybe firstly I will create material for a lamp. It will be metallic material. Remember that you can always use material for Chaos Cosmos browser. I will create it from scratch, but I've noticed that in Chaos Cosmos browser we have more materials. It's updated. Let's take a look. For example, gold blurry is very nice material. So you can check new updates, new materials, but I will create material from scratch to explain all tabs. 0 gold. Okay, firstly in the diffuse tab, I set the color of the metal. So in this material, I will set gold color, but you can change it, for example, to silver and try with different metal. So I change values for R219, G176, and for B124. Yeah, and this is our gold material. Not yet. We need to change reflections. So firstly, I change reflection color to maximum value, reflection glossiness to 0.8, and the most important, metalness to 1. And we have gold material. Remember, if you change reflection glossiness, if I set it to 1, the reflections are very sharp. If I decrease this value, it's more and more blurry. Yeah. I set to 0.8. Okay, I see your comments that there are pauses. Okay, so next time it will be YouTube. I'm recording this, so don't worry. After webinar, I will send you a link. And you can play this webinar again. Okay, so next time maybe I will find better platform. Yeah, then click meeting. Maybe YouTube is fine. YouTube is the best. I wanted to try something different. Okay, this is our lamp. And then we have painting. And let's create new material. I want to show you something in this material. So I create painting. Firstly, in the diffuse tab, we need to upload a map. I prepared a picture for this. And let's apply this material to the group. I think that it will be better to apply material for a face only, to apply it here. And then we can change values, for example, 100. And then I will adjust the size. I click on the face, right click, texture, position, and I can make it bigger or smaller. Yeah, okay, it's fine. And I will do the same here. I will copy this map to this face. So I click on the paint bucket, press left Alt to copy this material and paste it to this face. And now it's adjusted to right side and looks nice. Okay, but that's not all. I would like to show the texture on this painting. So to do this, I will use bump and noise. So let's expand this tab, bump, and I click on texture slot and choose noise B. You can choose noise B or cellular, but this time I will choose noise B. And firstly, we need to set the size. It should be very small value, 0.02 or 0.01. Maybe I will set 0.01 to show you the difference between noise and render without noise. So I set the size 0.01 and I will set amount to 2 to show you how it looks on the visualization. Okay, and let's see that it looks weird because the size is too high and the effect is too strong. So firstly, we need to decrease the size. I set it to 0.02. So it should be very, very small. And let's render. Okay, and we can notice this noise over here. Still, the effect is too strong, so we need to change the amount. For example, to 0.04. And we'll get very nice effect. That's our painting is not smooth, it's grainy. Yeah, and it looks very nice on the visualization. We can notice the texture, 3D effect, small bumps, small grains. So I use noise for this effect. Okay, and this is our render. It looks very nice. And now it's time to create carpet with fur. So let's do this. Okay, maybe I will hide this, hide these elements. They are not necessary and my render will be faster. So I hide these elements and I will focus on carpet only. Firstly, I will create material for the carpet. It will be very easy, material only with diffuse. Because when I'm creating fur, our material can be very simple, only with diffuse. So for carpet material, I will upload carpet map. It looks like this. Yeah, something like that. And that's all. And now I will focus on the fur, but before I do that, I apply material to the carpet. I change the dimensions to 254. Okay. And then I select carpet. This is a group. Remember to create a group. And then click on the fur icon. Add fur to selection. I click on it. Let's see that we have dashed red lines. So our fur is applied. And I will try to use interactive rendering. Probably quality will be not very high. Yeah, but I think it's fine. I will use render region render. I focus on this part only. Okay. And for now, it looks weird. So we need to change fur. Fur settings. They are here in the geometry tab. I click on it and I click on fur. Okay, and here we have settings. These settings are quite simple because firstly we need to set count area. This area is for inches, so number of strands per inch. So for me it's hard to count. If someone is from US, it's much easier, but mostly I look at visualization. So I increase these values, increase, and check visualizations. I know that 20, 30 will be fine, so I set 20. And we have a lot of strands. And then, sorry, I will decrease the length, for example, to 1.5, to 2, and thickness. Let's decrease the thickness to 0.04, 0.03, something like that, and it looks much better. So the most important are count, number of first strands, length, thickness. These three options are the most important, and it looks fine. Then we have taper. If you are not sure about options, you can always maybe not click, but hover over option, and there is instruction. I think that this taper is fine. We don't need to change it. 0.9 is fine. Gravity, I never change it. And then we have bend. So this is the bend of first strands. We can notice differences. Yeah, I think that one is, yeah, the effect is too strong. If I set bend to 0, we'll have straight. Yeah. It's straight, so 0.5, 0.6 is fine for bend. And then we have number of knots. I always set it to 8. Number of knots is like number of segments. This is the same with the circle. When we are creating circle, we are creating it with 24 sides. So this is the same with knots. This is number of segments in the strands. Yeah. And that's all. We can always change variance in direction, length, thickness. Mostly I don't do that. I always focus on these three options. They are the most important. You can always add additional options, but I think that everything looks fine with this fair option. And let's render the scene. I stop render. I go to the scene 1 and let's see the effect. I turn off region render and let's render the scene with all models. It will take longer to create visualization. With fur, it's always longer, but let's take a look. It looks very nice. This carpet looks great. And this is our visualization. Remember to change values in exposure. Now with all the materials, it's easier to set exposure. We have filmic tone map. Let's take a look. We can add contrast, change brightness. Yeah, it looks great. We can always change white balance if you want. I create layer, choose white balance. We can change the temperature to have warmer visualization or colder. Maybe a little bit warmer. And it looks great. Remember that we can always turn on my favorite render element Cryptomatte. I click on Create Asset, Render Element, and choose Cryptomatte. Where it is? Here, Cryptomatte. Again, the render will take longer with Cryptomatte. So I'm using this render element at the end. But remember that it's very, very helpful this Cryptomatte option. With the newest V-Ray versions, you don't have to use, because in older versions, to use Cryptomatte, you had to turn off interactive and turn off progressive render. In newer versions, it's not necessary. You can use progressive rendering mode and use Cryptomatte. So now it's much easier. And we can change hue saturation, then click on this arrow, choose Cryptomatte mask, pick elements, for example, this one, and change the color. And this is our second visualization. I think that it looks very nice. Thank you. Have a nice day.